This boy is just a middle schooler, yet somehow he managed to hit a car a kilometer away with a handgun that only has a 50-meter range. First, he aimed at the target, then moved the crosshairs up and to the right. This way, the bullet would be affected by gravity and form a parabolic arc. Sure, the bullet's lethality drops significantly, but for a tracer round, as long as it hits, that's all that matters. Turns out, the boy was actually a 40-year-old legendary assassin who got ambushed by some kind of biological weapon, causing his body to revert to how it looked in middle school. After the organization did some digging, they discovered this was actually a new drug secretly developed by a pharmaceutical company. And coincidentally, the CEO's daughter happened to be his classmate. He didn't really think he could get any useful intel from some kid, but he was out of options. So Leo had no choice but to bite the bullet and try to talk to her. But before he could even finish his sentence, Ella cut him off. Don't let Leo's ruthless killer reputation fool you. His weakness was that he sucked at talking to people. Ella's words dealt him critical emotional damage, because for a middle-aged guy, the most hurtful word a young girl can say is gross. Later, Leo asked some other female classmates about Ella. Turns out it wasn't just his lack of social skills. Ella herself had severe androphobia because of her perfect looks and figure. Tons of guys had confessed to her, but every single one got rejected. This left Leo completely stumped. He randomly picked a ramen shop to grab a bite, and what are the odds he ran into Ella? She was actually working there as a server. Why would a CEO's daughter be working a part-time job? Their reactions were perfectly in sync. They both pretended not to know each other. Leo was a bit confused about the situation, but he figured he'd eat first and worry about it later. Ramen was his favorite food, but after just one bite, he realized this tasted better than any ramen he'd ever had. The quality of the ingredients was on a completely different level, but the real star was the broth. Its savory richness was even better than the noodles themselves. But just as he was lost in his meal, Ella suddenly told him to meet her outside after he finished. Ella warned Leo not to tell anyone she worked here. Actually, Ella had chosen this shop specifically because it was far from school. Normally, nobody would find out. She never expected Leo to live right in the neighborhood. Leo agreed to keep her secret. In private, Ella wasn't nearly as cold. She answered Leo's questions freely. Turns out the ramen shop owner was her uncle, and Ella worked there without taking any pay. As for why, Ella had always had excellent conditions in every aspect of her life since childhood, but she couldn't stand the way adult men looked at her. That's where her androphobia came from. Ella was determined not to rely on men. She wanted to survive on her own strength. Her goal was to open her own ramen shop. It all started because whenever she was in a bad mood, her uncle would make her delicious ramen. She decided to spread that flavor to the world, and the reason she was telling him all this was because Leo gave her a vibe similar to her uncle. Little did she know, her instinct was spot on, and as an adult, Leo encouraged her, especially when it came to talking about how good the ramen was. The two of them really hit it off, but just as they were about to part ways, a car suddenly approached Ella. By the time Leo noticed, it was too late. Ella had already been shoved into the vehicle. Leo never expected that on their very first real meeting. He'd witnessed a kidnapping scenario straight out of a movie. Although Leo's subordinate had snapped a photo of the license plate, it could very well be fake, but that wasn't going to stop Leo. He scanned his surroundings, then headed straight for the tallest tower in the area. His subordinate was stunned when he realized what Leo was planning. Although the subordinate